Miranda Barker. I'm the Chief Executive of East Lancashire Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here with Steve Waggett, who's the Chief Executive of Blackburn Rovers. And this is our big interview for the Chamber magazine.
Thank you. Delighted to be being interviewed by Miranda and the Chamber of Commerce. So look forward to the questions, and hopefully the answers will be interesting.
Hopefully it's not a hot seat compared to your daily life, because daily life running a football club can't be easy, can it?
It is an absolute full-on business. It's 365, 20 days a year, 24 hours a day, and it's just non-stop. But it becomes part of your DNA, part of the adrenaline surge, and it's dynamic. And one thing is, you're never bored, and there's never enough hours in the day to get through the agenda you've got to get through. And that's both on the field and off the field. It's but a really interesting industry and sector to be involved with.
And passionate and emotional, and far more community based and orientated to a local area than lots of business actually.
Yeah, and unlike other businesses, you carry the hopes of thousands and thousands of people that we have a good season, we're competitive, we win games of football, we entertain, they get value for money, and we're representative of the town in the area we work within. And the people here are great. They're very direct, tell you how it is, honest,
it's
earthy.
Trait, yes.
Yeah, which I like, coming from Newcastle. I like that, and having worked down south, it is a different ethos and a different culture.
And it's a community that really embraces its sport and its football club, isn't it?
It is, but I think if you go right across the UK and further afield across the world, clubs play an immense part in the whole community tapestry and strategy of the area. And as we've seen with recent events at Bury, how the denouement or the end of a football club within the family of the Football League, the impact that has on people's individual lives, and people now having mental health therapy and trauma sort of sessions for the loss of a football club. And so being chief exec or manager of the football team, Tony Mowbray, and running a club is an immense responsibility, not just in a business sense but in a wider community sense as well.
It has a big impact on the local economy. I know from every town I've worked in, especially Wigan, again with the club going up and down in and out of the Premiership, and the impact that has on the local economy, you really see it, don't you?
Yeah, and I think from a general supporter's point of view, if you win on a Saturday, they bounce into work on a Monday morning, and I'm sure there's been a lot of research done on productivity going up and down depending on the fortunes of the various football clubs. Swansea City, who nearly went out of the Football League years ago, they eventually got promoted to the Premier League, new stadium at Swansea, and there was a research project done on them where inbound tourism increased by about £50 million per year because they had the Manchester United and the Liverpools and other big clubs coming to town, generating a lot of business in. So, I've always been keen on developing links with yourselves, the Chamber of Commerce, the wider business community, about inbound tourism, what a football club can do in terms of filling up pubs, clubs, restaurants, hotels, etc. When you're in the Premier League, it's just a different level. Championship is tough, but if we can get back to where we want to be, it would have an immense impact on the whole economy and the whole plans of the council in the region for the northwest. They've got a lot of big clubs already here in terms of the Liverpool clubs and the Manchester clubs, and Burnley have done well, and the way they've built the club has been a real good model that of common sense being applied to how they've taken the vast fortunes of the Premier League but developed their infrastructure as well as their football inside. So hopefully we'll try and get there in the next few years.
I think it's really exciting. So give us a little backstory on Steve though. Where have you been before now?
This is my fifth club, but from not being able to get a full-time profession out of football after having different schoolboy forms with different clubs. I went back to university, retrained, eventually became a director principal of a college, an FE college in London, heavily based around sport. Gravitated back to the world of football through Charlton Athletic in South East London, became group chief exec there, and then bounced in from there into Coventry, and then done a bit at Gillingham and Southend before coming to Blackburn. So 5th club. All clubs are different, different types of cultures and the way they work, but one of the challenges here was to get the club back into the community, re-engage with the supporter base, re-engage with business community, and get us involved in a whole range of different activities that is not purely altruistic. We've got to get the benefit of, we call it bums on seats to fill the stadium.
Exactly. And the stadium's a big piece of real estate.
It's huge.
It work for you when you're not full of football fans
it is,
as well.
Absolutely. So we only have 23 events in the Football League calendar, and then we have a couple of cup games. So what do we do with the other 340 days a year? Well, we've got to sweat the asset. So we've had a slight change in our catering partnership to try and develop all our non-match day conference and event business, because football is an expensive business. You know, it drains cash, it burns cash very quickly, so we have to look at a multitude of different revenue streams to try and bring the amount of money and to get us less dependent on wonderful owners. To be fair, the Venkies, who've put in a lot of money already in the club and putting more in, but we've got to try and come away from that benefactor model, which is more revenues.
Not be vulnerable in the super long term, you know.
Well, everybody in football sort of, we talk about sustainability, but it's a very hard thing to achieve because of the amount of wages for players, the involvement of agent fees. But we've got to move towards that model, which may be what we're trying to do at the moment, by develop young players, sell them on. But obviously we want to have the benefits of them playing for Blackburn Rovers as well, so we're successful on the pitch, because as we said before, should we get the Premier League, then a lot of your financial challenges don't totally disappear, but they get less difficult,
acute, yes.
And less acute. Good word.
You're doing an awful lot of investment now in all of the lounges in the stadium.
We are. We've just had a huge over the summer where people think executives disappear with the players. We don't. We go into overdrive really in terms of the physical resource improvement. So all the senior training centre, all the academy, and now Ewood has had a makeover and a refurbishment. We've gone through the lounges here at Ewood. We've done all the concourses with the new catering partner, Sodexo. So yeah, we're now moving. I think the club has been in a little bit of a malaise, got relegated into League One, but now we're on the way back. We've turned the corner. Championship's tough. Everybody wants to get out of the league, to get the Premier League, to get the 100 million plus TV revenue, but we're stabilising, which was part of my role, to get us back to Championship stability and steady growth, and that's where we're heading. But we need a lot of great partnership links, like with yourselves and others, to really get the club, on a solid footing, so we can go to the next level.
And to draw more people in and get more children involved and bring their families with them and go across every area of community. We've got an initiative we're working on, haven't we?
We are.
Choir.
We are. With not using the whole of the stadium, we have a redundant upper tier of the Blackburn end. We're sitting in the part of the building now, but so it's how could we use those seats without, there's no one to displace, no season ticket issues, so how can we use it? So I said, let's make it into a next generation stand. So we'd encourage people from the BAME community, which is a big focus for us as well, junior members, other groups, National Health Service, anyone who hasn't been to Ewood before, come and sample what a match day experience is about. And it's because of the digital era we've moved into, we've got to develop an experience more than just the football for 90 minutes. It's got to be a full day of activities, engagement, then the football game, which is the actual, icing on the cake. But it also takes away from the turbulence of winning or losing and having a family experience. So we're doing a lot of work. We've got a very vibrant community trust I sit on the board of trustees with them to assist them in the growth. They're in all the schools, in the youth clubs, etc. And we've eventually want to get everybody in Blackburn supporting Blackburn Rovers and coming and watching a game, because it's so easy now to just disengage from live football. You can pick up goals reports in milliseconds on devices.
Game, we need to get the kids coming and seeing the live football and getting passionate about it and build that link with the club right from an early age.
We do, and I think if you're into football, we all remember our first game, who we went with, whether it's your father, your grandfather, your mother, whatever. But we have to get those initiatives back, and we have to encourage people to come in. There's so many various options now for leisure time, that people, if they switch off from football, they can turn their backs on it for a long time, if not forever. So we've got to engage early with young supporters, with our families getting involved from all different parts of the demographics of Blackburn, which are unusual compared to other clubs I've been in. And so we're doing non-alcoholic areas now. We're doing halal food across the stadium. We're doing as much as possible in terms of encouraging people from, not the traditional, white working class individuals who've come for years and years. We still need those. They're absolutely essential to us, but we need to build on that core support to make sure that, one, we're representative of the area we're based in, and two, to grow the club based on, getting in 18 to 20,000 supporters. Yeah. Which is a big plan that we've been working on for the last couple of years since I've arrived at the club, and we'll keep progressing because it's a long-term thing. It's not just something you do and it's going to, there's going to be an immediate reaction. This is a 5 to 10 year strategy.
That's where you want it with the community, that a football club is for life, not just for a season.
Well, you probably would change your football club less than you would change either your wife or your bank account or your solicitor. It's just something that stays within you. I've travelled miles away from Newcastle for the last 30 odd years, and yet it's still, the black and white is still within me. So football fans are like a stick of rock. When you cut them through, then Blackburn would be half white and half the blue. That traditional famous colours that they've got, and obviously we're in the 25th anniversary year of winning the Premier League, so we're one of the elite 6 clubs who've ever won the Premier League, so we're doing a lot on the 25th anniversary. Of every 25th minute going forward, we'll have a session of applause, different slides of Jack Walker and Alan Shearer, so picking up on the history of the club as well, and trying to look at all the great things that have happened, and then hopefully that will happen in the future, but we've got to take everyone along with us.
I think that's perfect. Thank you very much, and we wish you luck with this season.
Thank you for coming in.